Hello, everybody. Just me tonight, and I'll be starting in a couple minutes. Just gotta do the social media dance and make sure that the stream is working correctly. Hello, Rommel Dash. Well, the one nice thing about doing a solo show is I have no one to blame but myself if I don't start on time. And there we are, where I am. So, got another minute or two before we start officially. Let's allow everyone who's going to be here time to get here. Could play video games off camera for the next minute, but that would be somewhat poor form, I think. Let's see. We'll give it another 43 seconds or so. Let's see. And 3, 2, 1. 6 o'clock. All right. Hey. So let's start. Hello, everyone, which currently is 2 people. Hello, both of you, and welcome to Super Podcast Action Committee, episode 131. Just me tonight. Easy K has almost had a baby today, but that didn't happen, but still wanted to spend time with the missus, you know, it being Valentine's Day and all. James also happens to be married and wanted to spend time with his significant other tonight. We have a few other people we can rotate in as alternates, but it was last minute. They all have families and significant others, and well, there you go. Which is not to say no one in my family or no one in my life is significant, or that I don't have loved ones. Just none of them are here. You know, my family and other loved ones are, you know, hundreds of miles away. So we weren't going to spend time together today anyway. All right. So, going to be kind of a loose format. Yes, AL Justice. It being Valentine's Day and all, this is just for me to tell you all sweet nothings with my voice. So, yes, it's Valentine's Day, so there's going to be a lot of sexy and a lot of love in this show. Although, being that I haven't cut my hair in a couple months, the sexy may not work, but we'll see. Oh, we've got 3 viewers now. So we did have some topics to discuss, and I'll discuss a few of them. But being that some of the topics aren't really interesting unless you have a discussion, some of them are getting cut tonight, I think. For example, like the ESA's position on cybersecurity. The ESA seems to be backing CISPA-like cybersecurity measures. You know, your cybers are very secure, but your privacy isn't. Yeah, kind of boring without another person to play off of, right? So, anyway, Andrew Eisen here. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a fantastic and very lovely Valentine's Day. I actually do have plans for this wondrous evening. I have a pound of incredibly stupid expensive seafood in my fridge, namely scallops, that I am going to make into a seafood pasta. because my mom bought me a lobstergram for my birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I bought 2 pounds of scallops. 2 pounds, yeah. I think it's $47 for 2 pounds of scallops, and a further nearly $30 to actually ship it to me. And I live right. Pardon me. Hold on. And I think $30 for shipping. Goodness, the ocean is just right over there. I could go get it. But I tried a couple last night because they were delivered yesterday, and oh boy, are they good. Are they really worth $50 for 2 pounds? No. But it's my birthday, so hey, or it was my birthday, so hey, what the heck. But they are delicious. So, what have I been doing this week? Well, as most of you know, all four of you now, hello, four people. I got a PS3 for Christmas, although I've been extraordinarily busy, so I haven't had a whole heck of a lot of time to do anything with it. But it is hooked up now. I've got it all updated and connected to the internet and stuff. And, pardon. I noticed that PlayStation or Sony gives you a 2-week free trial of PlayStation Plus. So on January 31st, I signed up for the 2-week free trial of PlayStation Plus, downloaded January's free games, and then a couple days later downloaded February's free games, one of which is Yakuza 4. Now, Yakuza is a Sony franchise that I have long wanted to play. So I think Monday of this week, I downloaded Yakuza. I think it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And hello, Z2400, how you doing? I think it was 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I think I'll try Yakuza 4 because I've always wanted to play this. I started downloading, and 4 or 5 minutes later, it says 1% done. I'm like, oh. It finally finished about 1:30 in the morning. But I had work the next day, so I had to go to bed. Got up at 8:30, started installing it because downloading it for 5 or 6 hours isn't enough. You have to install it too. And I install it, and when I left for work an hour later, it was only 80% of the way done. So I didn't actually have a chance to play Yakuza 4 until Thursday night, yesterday night, last night. And I must say, I love this game. This game is fantastic. I'm really, really digging this game. I may have to go back and pick up the rest of the games. I may have to get a PlayStation 4 for when Sega inevitably brings Yakuza 5 over. I'm really liking this game. So, it's one thing that stands out for me is while the game looks a little dated, it looks like it's using an engine that's about 8 to 10 years old. It doesn't look bad. It just looks a little older. And I'm staring off actually at it. I have it paused because I was playing it right before the show. And the animation can be a little jerky, but in the cutscenes, it's clear that Sega put a lot of time, effort, and love into actually animating these characters, because these characters, in the cutscenes at least, emote and have very specific and well done body language. I've only been playing the game for like 12 hours, so I'm in there's 4 characters in this game, and I'm still just playing with the first character. But well done on the animation. It's not Pixar level animation, but there's so much personality in it that it almost comes across that way, despite it looking a little old. One thing that's interesting is the cutscenes go from these full voice, full animation, and then it switches in the middle of the cutscene to the characters kind of doing that jerky mannequin thing with the text along the bottom instead of full voice, and then it'll switch back to full cutscene. And it's like, I think Sega. I think one of the issues is that the Yakuza franchise is low budget. Sega just doesn't dump a ton of money into it. But it's also very clear that Sega really likes this game, and you can tell that the folks working on it really love it. So, So having a lot of fun with that. Unfortunately, my PlayStation Plus subscription or free trial expires tonight. Although it's only $50 for a year, and this game costs $50, so it's like you may as well pay it to buy the game, and then hey, you get some other free games. But a friend of mine actually has a 30-day free trial that he's not using, so I'll probably just use that. This friend, as a matter of fact, if you read Game Politics, you will know that Sony Online Entertainment is now Daybreak Games Company, and they cut about 25% of their, or well, I think 50% of the workforce, 25 in San Diego and 25 in the other location. As it happens, I work right next door to SOE. So I know people who work there. So I actually knew this was coming and kind of had to sit on it for a week, which is always hard and annoying. Actually, there's a lot of stuff I have to sit on because it's, not necessarily non-disclosure agreements. I didn't sign anything. It's just one of those, hey man, off the record, but blah, blah, blah. Get a lot of that when you know people. So this friend of mine was one of the ones who was laid off, and so hopefully he'll land on his feet soon. We've been at Game Politics, we've been writing about all kinds of layoffs in the last month and a half. Really hate to do that. So did I see the video in which you can see the Super Smash Bros. Wii U character selection screen and the player select Rayman? Okay. I'll take a look at that. It's only 18 seconds, so hey, Rayman and Mewtwo. Interesting. Probably fake, but interesting. I'm trying to remember that I did a video, God, last summer, I believe, on things, characters and costumes and stuff I want to see in Super Smash Brothers. And I don't think I actually mentioned Rayman. I might have. He was at least in the initial draft of that script. And that video is 10 some odd minutes. The original script was quite a bit longer. I pared that sucker down. If you've watched my Monster Hunter wish list video that I put up this week, that was originally a lot longer too. I had to pare that down to 5, and the script has still ended up being, I think, like 800 words long. So haven't been doing much else this week. I think I now own 8 games for the PS3, and I haven't touched any of them except Yakuza 4, which I downloaded, which I think is like 22 to 24 gigs. Rather large game, which is almost twice the size of the flash memory that's available in the 12 gig model that my sister bought me. So I'm glad I put a new hard drive in it. By the by, again, solo show. So if you have any questions or you want to send my way or ask me or topics you want me to discuss, feel free. So Ale Justice says, if you're actually watching YouTube and Game Politics, you could always chat with us or read 50 Shades. Yeah, or you could go see the movie, which I hear is terrible. I haven't read the book. Don't really care. Although I did do a video about the 50 Shades of Grey pop-up book. Look that up. That one's funny. You will laugh. It's got fake semen in it. And then I did a video about how to make fake semen, and that's actually, I think, one of the top 3 most viewed videos on my channel is how to make fake semen. So, well, let's see. Well, this is tough when you have no one to play off of. So let us move on to the poll, which I should actually close. It was a yes or no poll this week, which makes things easy. Okay. Oh, 100 votes even. So should the FCC exempt municipal broadband providers from being reclassified as common carriers? Now, as many of you know, the FCC is championing net neutrality, the idea that ISPs can't choke, throttle, block, or do paid prioritization for any web traffic based on its content, so long as it's legal. So basically, the crap that Comcast and Verizon keeps doing, yeah, that's a no-no. So how the FCC plans on enforcing these net neutrality principles is reclassifying them as common carriers under the Title II of blah, 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 whatever it is. Now, the municipal broadbands, which are the government-run broadband services, of which there are few because there are about 20 states in the U.S. that have laws that restrict or outright ban municipal broadband service. Something else that the FCC says it's going to look into, possibly preempting such state laws. So the municipal, 47 municipal broadband provider, 43 or 47, in the 40s somewhere, got together and sent a letter to the FCC and said we should be excluded from being classified as common carriers because we won't violate the tenets of net neutrality. Scout's honor. Would we lie? We're the government. Would we lie? Now, to be fair, they do list out some reasons why they shouldn't, and basically because they're much smaller than monoliths like Comcast and Verizon, classifying them as such could somehow possibly drive them out of business due to the costs. You know, they'd have to hire people to make sure that they're following all the net neutrality rules that they're already following, and they may not be able to afford that. Things like that. Haven't looked into that really carefully. Maybe they're totally right about that. Maybe not. It's the government, so probably not. Anyway, the question was, should the FCC exempt municipal broadband providers from being reclassified as common carriers? 100 people voted. 90 people said no. 10 people said yes. So we may have 10 people on municipal broadband actually reading the site. So, yeah, I don't think, not being completely clear on what the harms are and how realistic they are and how fair they may be, my initial thought is no, municipal broadband providers should not be exempt from being reclassified as common carriers. So 90% said no. All right, let's see. Hello, Hyper. And yeah, Zach is not here today, Dream Peppers. He and the missus, instead of having a baby, which almost happened today, they're just enjoying each other's company on this, the day of Valentine's. There is no Zach, only Zool. That's right. James couldn't fill. James kind of offered to fill in, but he said, I'm going to have to sleep on the couch tonight if I do fill in, because Valentine's Day is actually the anniversary of the day he proposed to Mrs. Fudge. And sorry, I can't remember. Teresa, I think her name is. Maybe. Boy, I hope I've got that right. So 15 years ago, if I'm remembering his Facebook correctly. So there's a long time. And then I know we've had Jeremy on the show. He's married and has kids, so I'm sure he's busy. Besides, it was last minute. We had someone else we could ask, but he wasn't able to make it until way late tonight. Why? Because, you know, he's doing stuff on Valentine's Day. I have stuff to do on Valentine's Day. I have, you know, people I could see and things I could be doing with them, but I'm a professional. I'm here for you guys because I love you. Happy Valentine's Day. So what do I think about the Law and Order Not Gamergate episode? I didn't see it. That was something Zachary and I were batting. That's right. You get to spend your Valentine's Day with me. And I hope you're all not alone, and that's why you're here. I hope you and your Valentine are celebrating your special day together with me. It's like, what should we do together with each other on Valentine's Day? let's watch Super Podcast Action Committee. That's what we should do. So those of you who are not aware, Law and Order Special Victims Unit aired an episode somewhat based on the harassment that we've seen in the gaming community towards some critics. Notably the female ones like Anita Sarkeesian, Brianna Wu, Zoe Quinn, et al. So in this show, there is a game developer who is making Amazonian Warriors or some game, and there are gamers who are like, you're a horrible person for making video games and you should be hit over the head with a snow shovel and raped and murdered and deathed. And so she goes to the Savu people of the titular Savu and says, these gamer peoples are threatening the hell out of me. Make them stop because I've got a game to launch. And apparently the show is Marissa Haggerty and whoever else is on that show tracking down the bad guys who are threatening the person who's making a video game. And apparently it sucks, which is not really surprising because it's Law and Order. And anytime they try to tackle things like the internet or computers or gaming culture in general, it sucks. And I keep thinking to myself, Law and Order has been on the air for 20 years now. I would think that at some point, these old out-of-touch people who don't know what the hell they're talking about would kind of move on and retire and be replaced by the young people who grew up with games and the internet. And you might see a Law and Order episode cover the internet or gaming or, hacking, things like that. And it be not obviously written by people who don't know what they're talking about. But nope. Apparently it's the same people. Or it's a style thing and they just don't care. I don't know. To be fair, I have not watched the episode, but I read a few reviews of it, and apparently it's just the same dumb stuff. I don't know what happens. I'm sure they catch the bad guys, and apparently one of the lines in the show is, "Oh no, the bad guys have just leveled up." And it's like, oh my god, someone actually wrote that in a script. Someone actually edited that script and said, yeah, that's okay. An actor actually delivered it without the director yelling at him, no, that's just stupid, that doesn't work, no one would ever say that. Yeah, I don't watch the show. I don't watch any show because I don't have television. But Ice-T, is he still on the show? Awesome. Yeah, they make stuff up too. They're like, oh, the firewalls are in the way of the ports, which are nested with, and you're like, what? And I always love how hacking is portrayed in movie with someone typing on a keyboard with crap flying all over the screen. I have a degree in electronics engineering. I know how to code. I've done it myself. I've seen other people do it. I've seen people much better than me code, and it looks nothing like that. Coding is not sexy. It's slow and boring. So I can understand movies, taking a little bit of visual license with the portrayal of hacking, because otherwise you would have a very dull movie. But yeah. Oh yeah. Apparently someone gets raped in the show, and that's what it was. Because I'm not sure if it's the game developer herself or someone else, but apparently she's sexually assaulted or raped at a games convention or show, and they're like, at first it was just harassments, and then she's attacked, so the perpetrators have leveled up. And again, no one would ever say that. 1, it's stupid. 2, it's crass. 3, it's incredibly insensitive. So What are the subjects tonight? Whatever I feel like talking about. We did cover the poll from this week. Should uh, municipal broadband providers be reclassified as common carriers? 100 people voted. 90% said no. So that was that. Something else we can talk about is Paranautical Activity, which is a game that hit Steam last summer, if I'm not mistaken. Pardon me. So, indie developer Codeavers has a game called Paranautical Activity. It hit Steam in August or sometime this summer, and it was mislabeled as early access or something like, or beta or something like that. Which one of the two developers of Codeavers lost his head and got angry about it being listed incorrectly. And the anger is understandable because, you know, you're an indie developer and this is like your one shot. And if it's mislabeled and people ignore it because of that, well, that's very frustrating. But this particular person, in his anger, said something like, I hope Gabe Newell chokes on a hamster and dies. He said something like, I'm going to kill Gabe Newell, which was not a good idea. So the game was actually yanked from Steam. The guy ends up apologizing, resigning from Codeavers. Codeavers issues an apology. Little while later, the guy rejoins Codeavers because he can't find a job, something. And now this week, Codeavers has sold the rights to Paranautical Activity to someone else. So the game, now that it's owned by someone who is not Codeavers, is now back on Steam, which is kind of interesting because we actually ran a poll back in October, asking, will Codeavers' Paranautical Activity ever make its way back to Steam? We had 199 people vote. 30% said yes, 32% said no, and 39% said no Codeavers game will ever be on Steam. Now, what that actually failed to take into account was Codeavers selling the game to someone else, which is what happened. Sold it to, and I don't have it. Yeah, I didn't actually pull that one up. Oh, no, I did. Digirati, which I've never heard of, but Digirati is the publisher that now fully owns Paranautical Activity, and it's on Steam right now as the Deluxe Atonement Edition. Subtle. So there's that. Let's see. How about that Rayman and Smash leak? Even though I know you're not a huge Smash fan, I just found it ironic that the Ubisoft character could be DLC. I actually just heard about that 10 minutes ago when I think Z2400 pointed it out. I had not heard of that. Of course, I've been playing Yakuza 4 all day and haven't really been reading the internet. So I think Rayman would be an excellent addition to the Smash lineup. I have there's a lot of character. I made a video about characters and things I would like to see in Super Smash Brothers before the game came out, and several of them ended up coming true, like Pac-Man, Mies. So, you know, hooray! I predicted a few things, although some of them were really, really obvious. But yeah, I think Rayman would be a great character for Super Smash Brothers. I don't know if he'll be a DLC character, and I don't know where that video comes from or what it's footage of. So it strikes me as fake, but I would love to see. I could care less about Mewtwo, although I know everyone loves Mewtwo. I've never been a big Pokemon fan. I do like a lot of the designs in Pokemon, but it's a game series that I just don't care about. I don't really enjoy it. It's great for what it is, but what it is just not something I'm into. One of the things that drives me nuts about the game is the whole red and blue thing that they do. Or X and Y or Alpha Omega or whatever. I hate that. I hate that. When they did Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, I hate that. Although, from what I understand, the games are really, really different. So maybe that works. But, Pokemon Red and Blue, Green and Black, Black and White, all those, it's essentially the same game. There's a slightly different progression through the plot. Some of the Pokemon are different, like the end boss is different, but to me, it's just a cheap ploy to get you to buy the same game twice. So if I were into Pokemon, I would be the kind of guy who would wait for the Emerald Green edition, or the edition that takes the original two and puts them together. I would wait for that version, but that's me. Um, you think it's funny that I predicted Bayonetta 1 coming bundled with Bayonetta 2? Yeah, and so yeah, one of my that was a different video. That was my 10 crazy Nintendo predictions. One of them was Bayonetta 1 will be included with Bayonetta 2, and that actually was announced the following day during Nintendo's E3 E3 Direct thing. I also predicted Tingle will be a playable fighter in Hyrule Warriors, which that one took a while, but he is a DLC character. He is a playable fighter through the DLC pack. Hey, Delirical. And I think I got it. I think I had 10 predictions. I think maybe 4 or 5 of them have since come true. So, not too bad. Although the still no Beyond Good and Evil 2. Although, if Nintendo wants to step in and take that game over so that it sees the light of day, much as it did with Bayonetta 2 and Devil's Third, there is a dog losing its little head. Hear that? The arf, arf, arf. That is why cats are better than dogs. Because cats don't bark. They don't make noise, typically. The only time a cat makes really loud, consistent, annoying noise is when it's injured or in heat. That's about it. Unless you just happen to have one jerk of a cat. So, cats are better. I have said it. I have spoken. Unless you want a pet, then I guess dogs are better pets. Cats are better roommates. Because a dog is totally a pet. A cat is more of a roommate. Yeah. My best prediction, I want a kitten. Let's see. You saw an article on Polygon about third parties selling Steam code and Origin cheaper than the original stores. How do they do that? Sell it. Oh, if what you're saying is other third-party resellers selling Steam and Origin download codes for cheaper than Steam and Origin are selling them, the idea is they got them illegitimately. Sometimes they hack them or steal them, or sometimes what has happened in the past, what happened in the early days of Humble Bundle, is people would buy the Humble Bundles and get a bunch of Steam codes and then wait for the Humble Bundle to end and then sell these Steam codes that they got for $1, for $10, $20, $30, whatever the heck they go for on Steam. So, it's buying cheap and selling high. So, let's see. Ubisoft isn't in trouble, so that's why it isn't coming anytime soon. I've actually seen some predictions from analysts saying that Ubisoft might have a difficult 2015. I think it'll be fine. Ubisoft, even though pretty much every single one of its games completely failed at launch this last fall, still sold incredibly well. So money's money. It remains to be seen if gamers have the memory, if that memory is going to linger, and gamers are like, I remember last year. I'm not buying Assassin's Creed, whatever the subtitle is, until I know it's stable and working. Harumph. We gamers tend to have really short memories, which is probably why EA did not win worst company of the year last year, because it didn't do anything incredibly stupid the previous month. Which EA is kind of keeping its nose clean right now, and if it continues to do so, it will probably, not be nominated, or it might be nominated, but it probably won't win. So let's see. Now make a prediction. Every game from the Everything But Wii U list will come out on the Wii U. Yeah, that would be nice. Any thoughts on the Persona 5 trailer? I haven't watched it, so nope. Although I heard it has dancing in it, or am I thinking of a different one? Never played any of the Persona games. Not sure if... Might have to try them, because Persona appears to be a game that you have to play to get. It doesn't really seem to be something that you can watch a trailer of and go, oh man, that looks cool, I want to play that. Seems to be a game that you really have to, try. Although I did, yeah, it's not just, Dream Peppers. We citizens also have a short memory too. Look at current politics. Yeah, you're right. It's not gamers, it's people in general. you know, um, let's see. What was it? I did see a trailer for Just Cause 3, and I hate trailers like that because it's basically, there's no gameplay footage. It's just about a minute and a half of explosions and then a shot of the protagonist on a wingsuit, using a wingsuit. Now, since it's Just Cause 3, you can kind of get away with that because we know what Just Cause is. We know what it looks like. We know how it plays. It's essentially an announcement, hey guys, Just Cause 3 is coming out. But, if you don't show me gameplay, I just don't care. Z2400 says, the sad truth is when everyone was blank about AC Assassin's Creed 3 and saying, I'm done, no more Assassin's Creed, then Ubisoft shows Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Everyone was hyped, even the people who really did not like Assassin's Creed 3. Yeah, but to be fair, from what I understand, I've not played either. Assassin's Creed 3 was a letdown, but Black Flag, the subsequent game, was really, really good. It had pirate ships in it. Let's see. Viper 1985. Thoughts on a lot of the Rareware developers getting back together to make a Banjo-Kazooie spiritual successor. They made that trailer CG. Just Cause. Yeah. So Banjo-Kazooie spiritual successor. I love Banjo-Kazooie. I did not play Nuts and Bolts. Had I an Xbox, I don't know if I would have, because that's just not the Banjo-Kazooie game I wanted. Gosh darn it. But I do really like Banjo-Kazooie, and I was a little bit cooler on the sequel, but really quite like that too. Banjo-Kazooie has one of my favorite boss fights of all time. I really like the boss fight in that game because it does a wonderful job of making you use everything you have learned throughout the game in order to defeat the final boss. And I thought it was really well designed and really well presented. So, kudos to Rare on that one. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what this spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie ends up being. We've got little eyeballs peeking out from foliage, which a screenshot of silhouetted eyeballs or silhouettes with glowing eyes peeking out from some bush. That's all we've seen. It's like, I can't get hyped for that, but hey, it's got a good pedigree. I'm all for those collecting platformer adventures. We don't see a whole heck of a lot of those these days, so I wouldn't mind seeing another one. Interesting thing about Banjo-Kazooie is Banjo-Tooie, which is what they called the sequel, there's a line, and Banjo-Tooie was kind of putting its toe over that line, the line where there are too many collectibles in the game. Because there are musical notes and puzzle things and Jinjos and this and that and the other. There were a bunch of different things to collect in the game. I think Banjo-Tooie made it without being obnoxious. I think it worked because you were collecting everything for a reason. Things had their purpose in place. I thought it worked okay. It was like, holy crap, there's a lot to collect, but it was never too much. Donkey Kong 64, on the other hand, that one just, it took a running leap over the line. That one was so obnoxious. There were, bananas and banana coins and this and that and the other thing. I think what really turned me off was the fact that each Kong there were 5 different playable characters, and the bananas were color coded. So you could be in, going up a mountain and way over here, and then you'd see some pink bananas, and you'd be like, and you'd have to go back down and switch characters and go all the way back up to grab the pink bananas, and then there's some more blue bananas. Son of a, and go get the other. Oh, it was obnoxious. So DK64, I'm pretty sure I beat the game, but I didn't 100% it just because it too annoying. I'm not missing much with nuts and bolts. From what I've heard, as long as you're not expecting Banjo 3, it's a good game for what it's not Banjo Kazooie, but for what it is, it's good. But again, I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah, the spiritual successor to Eternal Darkness. Yeah, I'm going to say something a little controversial here. I think Eternal Darkness is overrated. I think Eternal Darkness is fantastic. I still think it's overrated because I just don't. It's good. It's really good, but it's not quite that good. The game is a little rough. It is a little clunky. Some of the mechanics don't quite work. Still, great game, and I'm bummed that it did not turn into a franchise because I think there were a lot of really interesting places that could have gone. And the Shadow of the Eternals, I think, is what they were calling the spiritual successor. That was obviously Eternal Darkness too. I mean, you had one area that was the same damn area, and a character I think was the same character. I really would have liked to see it. I hope it sees the light of day someday because I would like to see more done with that. Let's see, if I could pick one thing that really gets on my nerves about the gaming community, that gamers blow way out of proportion. The gamer community, hard to say about the gamer community because the gamer community is so damn large and so varied. There are so many different types of gamers that it's really hard to generalize like that. You could say, well, it bugs me when gamers do this, and it's like, I don't do that. Not even most gamers do that, just the really loud, annoying ones. So I guess if I could change the question to what things do some gamers do that bother me, I think some gamers have a disturbing tendency to personally identify with games that they like in a way that ties the game to their own personal sense of self-worth, such that when a critic or even just some random dude like me on the internet criticizes an aspect of that game, like perhaps I just did with Eternal Darkness, they are personally insulted. They take the fact that you are criticizing an element of a game they like personally. Your shot at the game is a shot at them. I've never understood that, and that just befuddles me. I have seen several people do that, and I don't get it. I wish people would not do that because it doesn't seem healthy to me. So that's something that some gamers do. But I think that's not exclusive to gamers either. You do see that in pretty much any form of pop culture. Movies, music, perhaps to a lesser degree, but you do see it. I'm not really a big music buff. In fact, as a musician, I'm a music snob and I hate everything. um, for those of you who don't know, I am a singer. I sing. I sing barbershop, 4-part a cappella music, and yes, I sing bass, not because I'm good at it, but because I can't sing high enough to sing any of the other parts. Um, if you don't know, barbershop is 4-part a cappella, which means 4 people singing 4 different parts simultaneously with no musical accompaniment, so no instrumental accompaniment. Which means that as a barbershopper, you have to really understand music and how it works. So when I hear modern pop music, I just get annoyed because it's terrible. Because the singing is when you're 4 guys singing or 4 girls, there is female barbershop or mixed quartets. When you are 4 people singing together without instrumental accompaniment, you have to sing really well, or it's kind of hard to listen to. So when I listen to modern pop music and the singers are just not very good singers, they're kind of relying on the instrumental accompaniment and the auto tune and whatever gimmick of the music. Especially since so much modern pop music is not even sung today. A lot of it is rapped, which is an art form in and of itself, and is a very commendable one for those who can do it very well. But it's not singing, which is what I do and what I like. So yeah, I tend to be a bit of a music snob. Bit of a tangent there. So let's see. Uh, Grant Kirkhope, big fan, David Wise, are doing music, and even Chris Seaver, I think his name is, of Conquer has shown an interest in getting involved. Yeah, Conquer is almost the last N64 game. It was a great game too. If the N64 wasn't essentially dead at that point, I think that game would have really made a bigger mark than it did. And also, it has a musical boss fight in it, the Great Mighty Pooh, an operatic mound of feces that sings at you. It is awesome. I always thought in a Conquer sequel he should get his 3 brothers in there and they could barbershop at you. It'd be great for me. Maybe not anyone else, but I'd love it. And you don't see a lot of musical bosses today, which is why as much as I hate Skylanders, I have to give it to not Trap Team, the one before that, Swap Force. There's a musical boss fight in that, and it's really, really cool. So, Attaboy, Toys for Bob, I think, makes that game. So let's see, what else do we got here? Well, I think if Zachary and I talk about the Law and Order episode, one or both of us are actually going to have to watch it. From what I understand, the show didn't come away with any type of opining on Gamergate. It was more, a premise of gamers harassing a game developer. What can we do with that? Well, we can level it up. So, Delirical, you ask, but your bass to baritone, right? I don't understand the question. Bass is the low part. Baritone is the melody that is in the middle, is the harmony, rather, that sings around the melody. So you have the lead, who is the melody. It's the part of the song that you would normally think of. When you sing a song, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. That's the melody of the song. The tenor is the high harmony part, the bass is the low harmony part, and the baritone is the harmony part that's in the middle. So the baritone can be above or below the lead. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there is a barbershop quartet in BioShock Infinite, and it's a Beach Boys tune, I think. And I know the quartet who does it too, and I can never remember who it is. Shantae games. I have not played any of them, but perhaps I will play Half Genie Hero or whatever it's called when it comes out to the Wii. I could pick up Pirate's Curse on either 3DS or Wii U because it's on both right now. I think the second, I don't know about the first game, but I think the second game is available too. Yeah, I would actually like to give them a try because I hear they're really great. I'm a fan of Way Forward, although some of their games just have not worked for me. I got a Boy and His Blob on the Wii, and while I think it is a master class in art, I don't think the game's very fun. I think mechanically the game does not work very well. But that might just be that game. In fact, I was looking on the PlayStation Store and I found the Blood Rain uh, Betrayal, I think it's called. Yeah, I love Blood Rain, and pardon me, and I may actually I'm going to give the demo a try at some point. So let's see what else we got. Okay, so what else do we want to talk about? Oh, one thing we were going to talk about tonight that I can talk about is the Nintendo 3DS to new 3DS transfer protocol. Oh, Nintendo. Oh, Nintendo. So a lot of sites have been talking about the difficulty of transferring the confusion and difficulty surrounding transferring data from and your account and games and everything else from your existing 3DS to your new 3DS, the actual new 3DS. Nintendo released a video, which is 3.5 minutes, and is the most complicated thing. You're like, holy biscuits, really? I was thinking, turn on new 3DS, sign in as to my Nintendo Network ID, download my games. No? There's more to it than that? Okay. So this video, here is what you have to do. You get old 3DS and new 3DS. You put them down near your computer, which is hooked up to the internet and has a wireless router. All right, because you have to be connected to the internet to do this. All right. Now, you start transferring. Also, if your old 3DS has anything larger than a 4 gig card in it, you're going to have to get a larger micro SD card for the new 3DS, which only comes with 4 gig. So, start the transfer between the two. Takes about an hour and a half, from what I understand. Now, take the SD card out of the old 3DS, put it in your computer, and copy a folder onto your desktop. On the new 3DS, get a size 0 screwdriver. I'm sure you all have one. Unscrew the back of the new 3DS. Take your stylus, flip it over. Crowbar the back of the new 3DS off. And don't be afraid of the crack sound that it makes. It feels like you're going to break it, but that's intentional. That's how you know it works. Now remove the micro SD card and either replace it with either start using the larger micro SD card if that's the factor. Put it in an adapter so that you can actually put it in your computer, because most computers do not have a micro SD card slot on it. Copy the folder that you copied from the other SD card onto the micro SD card, put it back into the new 3DS, put the back on, screw it back on, finish the thing, and it's just that easy. Now, from what I understand, this particular method is if you want to use your computer. You don't have to use the computer. You still have to do internet access, but you don't have to do the magical card swap thing. If your old 3DS has a 4 gig or smaller card in it, you don't have to move the card at all. You can do the whole thing wirelessly, but it might take 9 hours depending on how much crap you have on the old 3DS. You can actually move everything wirelessly. The reason that you use the computer is it's just faster to copy the file onto your desktop and onto the other card. Now, if that's the case, why do you have to have the two systems connected wirelessly anyway? I believe it's because it's your Nintendo Network ID is, going to the internet and saying cancel here, activate here, which takes can take some time anyway. You can also wirelessly transfer your license and saves and stuff over, which takes less time, and then manually re-download everything on the new 3DS. Now the problem is Nintendo doesn't really make that very clear in its video. The other problem is the procedures for it are incorrect on its website. A further problem is from what I understand, I've not verified this, but the instructions for doing the transfer procedure and taking the SD card out of the new 3DS are in two completely separate places in the instruction booklet. Dream Peppers, 9 hours. Depends on how much stuff you're actually moving. So I've heard some people say it took 9 hours, but I don't know how much crap they were actually moving. So, yeah. Oh, another little wrinkle in this is the new 3DS does not come with a charger. And from what I understand, most stores really aren't carrying it, which becomes a problem because the 3DS pretty much only has about 3-4 hours of battery life. So you may want to sit there and kind of monitor the entire procedure for however many hours it takes and swap that cable back and forth from your old one to your new one to keep these suckers topped off. Yeah. What makes this so frustrating is you can see what Nintendo's going for here. You can see what they're trying to protect themselves against. They don't want 5 3DSs all logged into your account and playing your games. They don't want 5 people playing games that only one person bought. I get that. Here's the thing, though. This is an issue that was solved about 10 years ago. iTunes figured this out a long time ago. Sony figured this out a long time ago. Microsoft figured this out a long time ago. The Kindle e-readers figured this out a long time ago. Nintendo really needs to figure out the internet, because sometimes it seems like they're just, wow, man, how do we do it? Sometimes they're like, I'll watch I have a feeling that if I went over to Japan and said, hi, Mr. Iwata, how are you doing? So I was watching the Nintendo Direct for Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I thought it was really interesting how blah, 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 and I'd talk about that. I have a feeling Mr. Iwata would just be like, huh? How? That was a Japanese Direct. How did you even watch it? It's like, it's the internet, dude. If you release a Direct in Japan, everyone knows about it. And yes, I actually watched the entire 30-minute thing in Japanese because I'm that big of a Nintendo dork. I can't read Japanese for a lick. I think I can recognize one character with any consistency, and that's the no character, which is essentially the possessive apostrophe. It looks like a little circle squiggly thing. That's about the only character I can understand. I have a working vocabulary of maybe 100 words and basic syntactual knowledge of the language, and I can more understand what subject is being discussed than I can the specifics of what is being said. So I can kind of generally follow along. And Japanese uses a lot of English anyway, so it makes it a little bit easier. So, but speaking of Xenoblade Chronicles, if you guys want to check out my, it's like one of the most recent tweets I have there. So at Andrew Eisen, EISEN, or it's on my Facebook page too, Andrew Eisen YouTube. Japanese website for Xenoblade Chronicles X, or Cross, updated with some new videos, one of which looked at the character creator. If you go to the 41-second mark, It shows that this sucker is so in depth that you can actually adjust not only the height of the characters, but the size of the female character's bust. Here's the observation, though. The slider on one extreme end looks fine, but you get to about right here, and it starts drifting into that looks wrong, that looks really wrong. You've never seen boobs in your life. I'm not kidding. The slider moves from here all the way across, and the character model's breasts just grow straight out like Pinocchio's nose when he lies. I mean, just weep. It's like, for crying out loud, New Los Angeles has figured out interstellar travel, but they haven't figured out fake breasts. Cosmetic surgery is just beyond them. This is not what boobs look like. So, yeah, me thinks I'm going to have a small busted character because that looks really, really sick. Yeah, dem boob sliders. And I don't have a problem with boob sliders. I think it's fine. What I have a problem with, well, I don't have a problem with it, it's just stupid, is that most of the bust options look wrong. I mean, incongruous with the rest of the character model. I mean, Elma, I think the character that finds you is a fairly busty gal, and her boobs look fine for an anime character, at least. But man, check. I have a picture, a side by side picture of it on my Twitter. If you guys want to check it out, it's at Andrew Eisen. Funniest damn thing. But I'm really excited for Xenoblade Chronicles Cross. I'm one of those bozos who will sit there for an hour or more on the character creator, going through every single option to make sure that my character is absolutely perfect. But what's interesting is when I make a character, I usually make a female character who usually has dark skin and light colored hair, like usually kind of a white or a grayish colored hair. If you see my Monster Hunter character or any character created, they typically all look like that. Weird thing is, though, is that's pretty much Elma, the character that comes to get you. So that I might have to branch out in what my standard character looks like, because it might be a little odd to have her an exact clone of Elma. Also, if you saw the Nintendo Treehouse live stream that they did at E3 last year, and I hope they do that again this year because it was really, really cool. One day they played through the opening of Xenoblade Chronicles with a male character, and then the next day they played it with a female character. And what I noticed is that there seemed to, now if I'm reading the Japanese, because the whole menu thing was in Japanese, if I was reading it right, there are multiple voice options for both genders, and which leads me to believe that your character in the game doesn't say much other than what Link says in the Legend of Zelda game, that kind of thing, or probably the Gamatio, the encouraging in battle phrases. So probably a list of 20 phrases they just had 7-8 people record. The one they used for the Treehouse live stream, Treehouse stream, was one of think of the most annoying female anime voice you can. It was that one. I'm like, oh man. Oh, I hope there's some optional voices, otherwise I'm gonna have to go with the male character, because it is the most grating female voice I have ever heard. It's one of those make it stop kind of voices. It's the kind of voice that will make you stop watching a show because you can't stand it. So let's see. Have I downloaded Xenogears for PSN? No, but I do have no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Zone of the Enders. No, I have not downloaded Xenogears for. Now I know now I know what Xenogears is. Sorry, I was thinking Zone of the Enders. No, I have not. But I may at some point. You hope they have that same format for E3 again. Yeah, no CG, all gameplay. Yeah, because one of the things that just bugs the ever loving out of me with Sony, Microsoft, and Ubisoft, and now who is this? Blizzard? Who has their own show? Was it Blizzard or was it BioWare? One of the two. Blizzard, BioWare. One of the two have their own conference this time. Uh, Matthew, you haven't missed much. I've just been yammering for an hour because I'm all alone. Zachary and James and everyone else are with their loved ones this evening, so I'm doing a solo show. Let's see. I got distracted. Yeah, you watch the Sony and Microsoft and Ubisoft pressers, and almost all of the trailers are just these CG things that show you no gameplay. Don't even show you estimations of gameplay. They're not even faked like the 2012 Watch Dogs trailer. And to be fair, at that time it had to be faked because the hardware wasn't around for it to run on. But like the Dead Rising 2 Dead Island 2 trailer, with the jogger running around LA and zombies happen. It's a cute trailer, and we know what Dead Island is, but it shows you nothing of the gameplay. Or the Just Cause 3 trailer that just came out. It's just a bunch of explosions, not even in-game explosions. It's like they just had a plugin in Photoshop and they just spammed the explosion button. Z2400, you're going with the male in Xenoblade and the female in Splatoon because the female Inklings look awesome. Yeah, I'm really loving the design of Splatoon. Bethesda. I knew it started with a B. Blizzard, BioWare, Bethesda. Right, so maybe Fallout 4 or something. You got to think it's going to be something big, or they just wanted to chat about things. I don't know. Well, it's 7:00. That's an hour. Any final questions or things you want to ask about, or things you want my opinion on before we hang it up and do our Valentine's Daisy things that I know we all have lined up for the evening? I totally have Valentine's Day things lined up for my evening. Of course I do. It involves scallops. That's not kinky at all. It's really I bought seafood and I'm making a seafood pasta for dinner. So let me check YouTube here. Bay McSlut says, read us 50 Shades. Okay. Spunky Chicken says, dem Powerpuff Girls stickers. I have a lot of Powerpuff paraphernalia. One of my videos I'm thinking about doing is just showing you all the various Powerpuff stuff I have. Because I have a lot. It's not just this. Let's get Blossom in there too. Yeah, there we go. So, Hal, have I played Skyrim? No, I haven't played Skyrim. I have played Morrowind a little, and I did play Oblivion a little. I don't like the Elder Scrolls. I just don't like I admire them a lot. I admire the scope and what they do, but I just don't find them fun to play. I think they are very clunky, and it's mostly the combat. The combat, to me, sucks. I mean, sucks to the point where it's absolutely no fun. To me, it just feels like, you can't see what I'm doing. To me, it feels like you're just kind of doing this, waving your sword or whatever in something's general direction until it falls over. it's been getting better with each game. It was just absolutely abysmal in Morrowind. Got better in Oblivion. It's getting there in 5 in Skyrim, but that tactile feeling of actually hitting something is still not there, which makes the combat to me incredibly dull. Um, so yeah, I admire the Elder Scrolls games a lot, and there are a lot about them that I really do like, especially from a design and aesthetic perspective. But I just don't like play. And now, granted, I did not play Skyrim, um, and I didn't play a lot of Morrowind or a lot of Oblivion. Um, but man, just to me, and it's mainly the combat. I just really hate the combat in those games. It just makes it unfun. So, Delirical One asks, no Valentine's Day video? Yeah, no Valentine's Day video. I had one planned. I had it written. I had part of it produced, but it required a second person in front of the camera, which I couldn't get due to everyone I know is as busy as I am, and I just didn't have it was tough getting the Monster Hunter one out this week. So maybe I'll do that next year. I really should have started earlier with that, but again, been busy. I've had a PlayStation 3 since Christmas, and I've only started. Yakuza 4 is the first thing I've played on this sucker in the month and change I've owned it. I didn't start playing it until the second week of February. That's how busy I've been. Speaking of which, I'll be doing the guide for Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Should have that game next week. Thought I might get an early copy, but nope. Let's see. That's why I need mods. Yeah, for the Elder Scrolls games. Yeah. Do I know that the writer of the Rowdy Rough Boys episode wanted to make the Rowdy Rough Boys as worst as possible so that people hate them? Maybe I knew that. I don't know. I actually have, if you look, well, I don't need to show it off. I have the entire DVD set of this show, which I actually just picked up a couple weeks ago. And I haven't watched it yet. So, Delirical, you want to see the rest of my sister and I doing the movies we watch? Yeah, there's one more of those. We watched Lucky, the talking dog that convinces his cartoonist owner to kill people. That one I'm in the middle of editing. I'm kind of deciding whether I want to cut in footage from the movie, but that takes time, and it also requires me to watch parts of the movie again, and I really don't want to because the movie's not good. So hopefully I'll have that out sometime this week. My sister and I also there will be 2 more videos for my sister and I. Beyond that one, we did a video on 3 things we like that everyone else hates, and 3 things we hate that everybody else likes. So that's 2 videos right there. So those will be in the coming months. Also, my sister and I are going to, later this year, we're going to go see Weird Al in concert. So maybe we'll have the time to do something else while we're in the same town. So, I'm also thinking of having a RPG month. I was thinking February, but I'm doing Kirby and the Rainbow Curse this month. So I'm thinking maybe March I'll have an just a personal thing, RPG month, because I still have to finish Xenoblade Chronicles and I still have to finish the last story. Oh, interesting note. I found an interesting use for Let's Plays. Let's Plays are really good for catching up on a game that you stopped playing and it's been a couple of years and you don't want to start again. Because I'm about 30 some odd hours into Xenoblade Chronicles, And I was like, it's been almost 3 years since I stopped playing that, and I would have to start it from the beginning to kind of remember where I was. I'm like, why don't I just watch a Let's Play up to that point? So I did, and I realized that I wasn't even a third of the way through the game, which is fine. But I found it a really great way to catch myself up on the first quarter of the game and what the, because I still kind of remembered it, but now I really know who everyone is, what everyone's doing, what's going on, and it also gave me a chance to listen to the English dub, because I played the game in Japanese, and because I'm an original language kind of guy, and uh, credit where credit's due, the dub cast is mostly pretty good. There's a couple choices I don't agree with, but mostly I think the translation was really nice, and I think the performances are pretty good. Um, how does my sister like my hijinks? She calls me names a lot. One of my uh, nicknames, she just calls me ass all the time, um, because I am. But my sister and I actually get along great. We have very similar senses of humor. So we just have a ton. I'm glad so many of you react so positively to our videos, because I just think of stuff that's because we're just sitting on a couch and laughing. This, whether the camera was pointed at us or not, this is how we interact. Um, Oh, the next video is actually the next video that I'll be releasing with my sister is actually kind of funny, because there is um it's framed about right here. Yeah. So I'm sitting in the video, but there's a cat in my lap. So I'm constantly doing this throughout the entire video. But the cat is sitting below the frame, so you really can't tell what the hell I'm doing. And it's especially weird when my sister reaches over and so I'm sure it's going to be a fun video, and very entertaining for all. Xenoblade is a beast of an RPG. Yeah, it is. It's great though. um I personally prefer uh, turn-based combat in my RPGs, but but I still very much like Xenoblade's combat system. The only thing, really, the only criticism I had of Xenoblade was the multiple side stories, side missions in the game are the rewards are completely useless. I mean, money and experience is always nice, but the actual physical rewards, like the pieces of armor and weapons that you get from the various side quests, um, I must have played. I'm the kind of person who will do every single side quest before moving on. So I went through 100 side quests, and I'm not exaggerating here. Not once did I ever get a piece of armor or weapon that was better than what I already had equipped. Not once. So I'm like, you may as well just give me money, because I'm going to sell this crap anyway. Um, Adnex, you're a little late to the show, but yeah, it's an only an Andrew show tonight. Zachary, there was a baby scare. Oh, that's poorly phrased. Baby number 6 possibly was going to be born today, but baby number 6 said, "Nah, I'm not ready." So Zachary and the missus are doing the Valentine's Day thing tonight. James, if he doesn't want to sleep on the couch, is doing the Valentine's Day thing tonight. So I'm single, so I have no problem. So it's just me tonight. Interestingly though, as much as I like Xenoblade, and don't get me wrong, I really, really like Xenoblade, I like the last story better. Doesn't mean Xenoblade isn't great. It is. I just like last story a little bit better. I like the combat system in last story better, and I like the characters in the actual story so far. I'm only a third of the way through Xenoblade, so that could possibly change. But I like the characters, combat, and story a bit better in the last story. But both great games, and I really highly recommend both. Haven't got around to Pandora's Tower yet, though. Let's see. What do I think of the Powerpuff Girls Z anime? I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it. I should probably do that. Uh, Hopefully it's good. It's going to be one of those things. My guess is it's either going to be it's its own thing and it's fine, or it's just going to really suck. Hopefully it's just its own thing and it's fine, because it doesn't really look like a very one-to-one adaptation of what Powerpuff Girls is. So, um, am I shocked with how well Majora's Mask 3DS is doing? No. Majora's Mask is almost my favorite Zelda game. Um, there's a point where the game kind of lost me about three-quarters of the way through, where it 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 ran headfirst into a wall of suck, and then it went ugh, and then walked around the wall of suck and kept going. But so forceful was the impact into the wall of suck that the game never quite recovered its footing the rest of the way to the finish line. So that's probably why the game is not my favorite Zelda game. If it weren't for that one damned wall of suck, Majora's Mask would be my absolute favorite. Now, what actually does surprise me is the fact that Majora's Mask is not included in the Majora's Mask bundle, which is actually not a bundle in North America. It's just a Majora's Mask flavored 3DS, which, unlike everywhere else in the world, doesn't actually come with the game. Weirdest damn thing. I mean, the AC adapter, it's like, okay, all right, I guess I'll buy one, but it's like, wait, the Majora's Mask 3DS doesn't come with Majora's Mask? Monster Hunter 4 3DS comes with Monster Hunter 4, right? Yes, it does. But the Majora's Mask doesn't come with Majora's. The Ocarina of Time remake came with Ocarina of Time, right? Yeah, it did. But why? And why aren't they making faceplates for the XL? I mean, for crying out loud, look at, I don't know how well the digital themes are selling, but people seem to really like buying little customizable stuff. I mean, the amiibos are selling great when people can find them to buy. Don't you hate it when Nintendo's Twitter says, "Hey, you can use Shulk's amiibo in this way," and then you get all pissed? It's like, yeah, if I could find the damn thing. Oh, poor amiibo collectors. Adnex, you haven't grabbed Last Story. You heard it wasn't that great. I have heard that too. Matthew says it's bad. Skip it. So yeah, people, there are very different opinions on that game. Personally, I like it a little bit better than Xenoblade, but your mileage may vary. So, GameFly, I don't know. It probably isn't that expensive. I mean, if you can pick it up for 10 or $20, maybe give it a try. Or hey, watch a Let's Play or something and see if you dig it. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate is doing well, but you want it on the Wii U? Yeah, me too. I'm not buying it on the 3DS. I played the demo, and I really love a lot of the things that game is doing. I'm a big Monster Hunter fan, by the way. But I just do not want to play it on a handheld. Do not want. Monster Hunter is something that, to me, needs to be on the big screen, not on a little screen. That's not how I want to play the game. So hopefully it comes to the Wii U. So let's see. This has become a good Q&A video. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Majora's Mask was the first game that you know of to include a scheduling system. Oh, you mean the Bomber's Notebook? The thing that kept track of where everyone's routine throughout the day, and you had to stalk people and figure out where they would be and to improve their lives. Because the ends justify the means. Yes, I'm following you around, but it's for your own good. Um, I I love helping people in video games. In Xenoblade Chronicles, very slight spoiler. There is the Colony 6. There's only two colonies I've seen, 6 and 9. 6 was destroyed, and one of the focuses of the game is gathering money, resources, and materials to rebuild Colony 6 and make it a big, thriving, bustling place that people can return to and be proud of. And I love that stuff. One of the Tales games had something like that. A town gets destroyed by something, and you have to keep dumping money into it. And I love watching the town grow and more people coming in and things getting rebuilt. Skies of Arcadia, you have your base camp that you build up from nothing, and you go out and you recruit people to come in and populate it. I love that stuff. Yakuza, this first guy is a loan shark who doesn't charge interest. He just does it because he likes making the world a better place. And I love stuff like that. I'm always, if I played Mass Effect, which now that I have a PS3, I probably will. I will probably go the whole Paragon way because I just like being a nice guy. That said, I would play Hatred right now because I love shooting the hell out of things. And I look at the trailer for Hatred and I'm like, why are there no children? Why are there no pets? I want to blow away someone's dog and cat. Where are the elderly people and walkers and wheelchairs? So yeah, I have a very eclectic taste when it comes to video games. I just probably just generally love video games. Let's see, where are we? Aren't I glad I don't have to do the guide for Xenoblade? Yeah, if Sam offers me the guide for Xenoblade, I'm gonna tell him no. I mean, unless he wants to pay me a ton of money, no. I wrote the guide for Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. It took me 2 months. I wrote the guide for Hyrule Warriors. It took me about 7 weeks. Um, big damn games. I think I forget what Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate was well over 200 hours, but Hyrule Warriors took me a little over 170 hours, I think. And that's not counting. I didn't do the guide for any of the DLC stuff, but I love that game. I actually hope to. I kind of Hyrule Warriored myself out though, but hopefully one day I'll return. I'll get the downloadable content and return to it because I really did like that game, and I've really got my eye on Dragon Quest Heroes, which is kind of the Dragon Quest Warriors type of a game. Now that I have a PS3, I can actually play that. Dragon's Quest is actually my favorite RPG series, so now that I know I like this style of game, I'm really looking forward to seeing that one too. Yeah. If he doesn't charge interest, he's not technically a loan shark. Yeah, that's I guess so. How would I feel if someone voiced Lin Lin Lee with a Valley Girl accent in the English dub of Xenoblade Chronicles X? Lin Lee, I believe I got the sense that it was actually 2 words, but I'd have to relook at how that was written. She's the girl with the girl who doesn't have the white hair, who had actually I really don't like her Japanese voice. I was watching the Nintendo Direct or the Nintendo Direct, and I was like, oh man, she may bug the hell out of me through this game. But the little I forget what I can never remember non-pawns or whatever they're called. The little dude, the little fuzzy gerbil guy. He bugs the hell out of me too. So it might be interesting if these two are both in your party. I may have to, kill both of them. But Valley Girl accent. it would be just as annoying to me. Um, Girl with the Monado in her hair, isn't it? Isn't it the earrings? I think. Um, the I don't remember what I was saying there. Let me see. I actually Tatsu, that's his name. Yeah. Yeah, and I forget what his race is called. Non-pawns or something. They put Mo at the end of every single sentence, which is weird. And I actually am attuned to the Japanese language enough to actually notice that, and it bugs me. I know it's a little playful, gimmicky thing that they're doing to it's just a thing that they do, but I've never understood that. Just stop doing that. There's no reason to do that. Stop putting Mo on the end of every single sentence. It makes no sense. Nopons or Nopons, yeah. Actually, I got to the Napan village where I left off. Here's where I left off in Xenoblade Chronicles. Um, you get up to somewhere in the back of Bionis or its neck, and there's this Niagara Falls looking area. Literally big Niagara falls with big pool of water in front of it. And how the game works is your map is kind of fog of ward. As you walk around, the map kind of fills in. So I'm the kind of bozo who will walk every square inch of the damn map to fill in every single corner of the map, including the incredibly large body of water in front of the Niagara Falls. So I spent literally 20, maybe 30 minutes swimming laps just to fill in the damn map, even though it's completely pointless to do so. So I spent 20, 30 minutes doing that. And then you walk down the path and you get to the Napan village, which is a Ewok treehouse looking thing. And you go in and you talk to the chief, and there are about 12 to 15 Napans standing around. And I'm also the kind of guy who will talk to every single character in the entire town and then go run around outside until it's nighttime, go back in and talk to everyone again to see if they say everything different. And at that point in the game, I was like, I do not want to talk to you guys. Nope. Nope. No, I am not talking to you little bozos. So I just, so I turned the game off and I got distracted by something. That was the last time I picked it up. So I actually, as soon as I finish Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, I will probably get back into Xenoblade Chronicles and finish that out. Do my RPG month of March or something like that. And I'd also like to finish Last Story because opinions are divided. I don't know anyone who hates Xenoblade Chronicles, but I know people who really don't like Last Story. But I really liked it. Am I going to play Code Steam? I played the demo and I quite liked it. I probably will not be getting Code Steam, although I do really like a lot what they're doing with it. I bought Valkyria Chronicles, which is a game I've wanted to play for a long, long time, and it's, as far as I can tell, pretty much the same thing. So I'll probably be playing Valkyria Chronicles instead. You would love Monster Hunter if it was on PC. I'd love it better on consoles, but I'm a console gamer, so. Z2400, you do that, go back and forth to fill in maps, yeah, or talk to everybody, yeah. So I am one of those 100%ers. Yakuza, and I'm pointing like you can actually see what I'm pointing at, but if you can picture a television right there with Yakuza paused, Yakuza is a game that it's kind of like GTA, and you have a city and it is just packed full of things to do. There's a bay of lockers, and the keys to each locker are just kind of littered around the city. So you run around the city, pick up the keys, and go get prizes out of the locker. There's a bathhouse where you can go take a sauna and play table tennis, which I haven't done yet. There is a massage parlor, which is innuendo-tastic. There's an ice cream shop where you can go have ice cream. There's a burger joint, sushi place. There's bars. Sorry about that. there's a bowling alley which I haven't found the front door to. I'm not sure you can get in there, but I wouldn't be surprised because there's batting cages that you can use. There's a It's not exactly a strip club, more of a burlesque theater thing. It's more of a go in and watch a girl pole dance, but she's wearing shorts, boots, and a crop top. No one's naked in the game, at least not so far. You can play pool, you can play pachinko, you can play poker, roulette, blackjack, mahjong. Uh, that dice game that you see in all the Zatoichi movies, the ones where they roll two die and you say Cho or Han for odd or even and you bet on it, that's in there. Oh my, I have to do everything. Must do all the things. Um, there's a almost a Pokemon Snap kind of photography thing. There's a guy who will do training sessions for you. He'll train you for different things. There's um it is an RPG, so there are random battles. Basically, as you wander around whatever the name of the fictional city is, I forget what it's called. People just come up to and want to kick your ass, and you fight them. So it's basically random battles. You get point, and you can upgrade your stats, and you level up, and you get points that you can buy new skills with. That Viper asks, is there an arcade where there are some Sega games? Yes, there is. I think it's called Club Sega or something like that. Um, I only played a bit with the pachinko machine, but there's something else in there that I didn't take a look at. Oh man, because when I first turned on the game, I go through the menu and I'm seeing what's in the menu, and it goes challenges. I go, oh, okay, and I look at the challenge menu, and it lists and it's like collect all of the locker keys. Okay, buy all of the foodstuffs and all of the alcohol in the game. It's like, oh man. Hopefully it's not one of the hopefully there are four characters in this game, so hopefully I don't have to buy the the same food with each character. That would be annoying. um but yeah, this is a game that I will very happily run around and do all the things in. I'm really liking this game. Have I heard of the game Yokai Watch? I think yokai is one word, but that's okay. I have. I don't know really what it's about, but it's apparently really popular, and popular to the point where the developers were not expecting that popularity. I forget if it's being brought here or not, but uh, I should actually look in and see exactly what that game is because I'm not really sure. The 3DS game though. Hal. So it's like Sleeping Dogs. A little more RPG than action. Sleeping Dogs is the spiritual successor to the True Crime games, which I really really liked. True Crime Streets of LA and True Crime New York. So I was really bummed that Sleeping Dogs did not come to a system I had. But I can get it now. Um, those games are a little more action oriented. Yakuza, from the 12 some odd hours I've played so far, is a bit more RPG, modern day RPG, but there is action, but it's more. It's a lot closer to Shenmue if you ever played that way back on the Dreamcast. It's just this. There's a story, and you're just dropped in this big city, and you can just wander around and do fun things and get around to the story when you get around to it. Um, yeah, it's Pokemon, and it's not being released here at the moment. Yeah, Yokai Watch. So it's a Pokemon type game. That's one of the things that kind of makes me a little hesitant to get into Ni no Kuni, which is a really gorgeous RPG, which I can now play that I have a PS3, because I know it has a lot of the monster collection aspects of it and raising monsters and using them to fight. And I typically don't care for that kind of stuff, but we'll see. Did I play Citizens of Earth? No. It looks dumb. I don't know if it is dumb, but nothing I saw of it grabbed me. Um, I like the art style. Uh, I think it's got a unique look, but it didn't really look any fun to play to me. Could totally be wrong. That's just impressions from looking at preview videos. So I haven't read any reviews about it either, so I'm not really sure uh, how good or not it is. Oh, same studio, huh? Okay. Oh, let me check on YouTube here and see if anyone's asking questions over there. Bu- 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 bu. Ale Justice says Nintendo really seems to want bad press, which is still bad, which is still press. But come on, man. You asked if I tried Pandora's Tower, which yeah, I answered earlier. Not yet. The side quests in Xenoblade Chronicles were a bit overblown. Hundreds of fetchy things for nothing but over leveling. While they were bundled for new areas for you for convenience, they were just too damn numerous. And I get the itch to do those kind of things and feel bad if I don't. Yeah, that's really my. As I went into earlier, that's really the only criticism I have for the Xenoblade Chronicles is the most of the side quests are go kill monsters or go get thing for me, which if you think about it, most objectives in a video game is some form of that uh, in the first place. But Xenoblade really doesn't try to hide that most of the time. It's like, just go kill the monster. It's annoying me. Um, but there are several side quests that I really like. I remember one. There's the refugees from Colony 6. Someone there has a quest where it's like, the damn monsters stole all of our pants, and you have to track the monsters down to a cave up on a ledge somewhere, and you go through this cave, and it opens into this large clearing where all these monsters are, and you get into this huge fight with a bunch of monsters. Um, Over pants. And so you beat up all the monsters and you take the pants and you take them back. And, again, that's really nothing more than a fetch quest combined with a, go kill the monsters quest. But it's the context of it that made it so damn charming and fun. And Xenoblade actually has a lot of stuff in it like that. But as AL Justice points out, it, it might be a bit too numerous to the point of where you're like, there's just too much here and not enough substance. As I mentioned before, the rewards are completely pointless. Apphead Gaming asked me half an hour ago, if you're still watching, what game systems do I have? I have all the Nintendo systems, well, except for the Virtual Boy, the original Game Boy. The DS is the first handheld I ever got. So I have all the Nintendo systems. I have an Atari 7800, and again, I'm pointing, it's up in the closet, which plays the 2600 games. I have a PS2, which is technically not my PS2. It was provided for me so I could write guides for PS2 games, but they never asked for it back, so I still have it. And I have a PS3 now. So, so pretty much all of the Nintendo systems and a PS3. Oh, and I have a 3DS also. Can I explain what I mean by it looks dumb? Because that can mean anything. You're right. It looks dumb is not very descriptive. Um, I couldn't tell from the trailers what I was supposed to, what you do in the game. You, it's kind of, whoop, hang on, there we go. Uh, it looks like you have a guy and you lead people around, but I'm not sure what you do with anything. And this is partially the game didn't really appeal to me, so I didn't remember so I don't remember what the game does. But the only thing I remember is the president of Earth or vice president of Earth or whatever, just kind of leading a bunch of people around, and I don't remember anything else. All I can really remember is the game didn't strike me as, ooh, that looks interesting, or ooh, I should play that. So unfortunately, I can't. I have a problem remembering things that don't. I can remember not liking things. I can remember saying, yeah, that didn't interest me, but when that happens, I don't devote brain space for it. So I have a hard time articulating why I didn't like it or why I didn't react to it, unless I make it a point to remember what I didn't like about it. So apologies that I'm not sure exactly why it didn't grab me. I just remember that it didn't. Um, Citizens of Earth, rather. Adnex, it's a ripoff of Earthbound, but clearly wouldn't call it a ripoff of Earthbound, but clearly taking some pages from Earthbound. From what I hear, it's a good thing to take pages from. I actually have Earthbound now. I got it through the Club Nintendo game blowout. It's one of the ones that I remember seeing that in the game store, Blockbuster or whatever rental store all the time. Never got around to renting it though, so I'm interested in looking at it. You wish Sega would make a new Skies of Arcadia. Boy, howdy do I too. I love Skies of Arcadia. Love, 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 love that game. It's so fantastic. And I would very much like a sequel. And I'm very happy to know that Vice, Ika, and Fina, the characters in that game, are actually guest stars or at least cameos in Valkyria Chronicles. Do I, Z2400, do I know that the Atari 7800 runs off the 2800 sound chip, that they make the decisions so that 7800 can play 2600 games? Would not surprise me. I did not know that, but I'm actually not familiar with the architecture of the Atari systems really at all. I mean, they're so old, I can take a really good guess about how they work. I could probably partially design it myself because they're just so old. I mean, you like think about how an old, even the NES controller actually works. And it's like, you know what? I could breadboard something like that. So, Delirical says, Just Cause series never grabbed me. Really can't tell what it wants to be. Just Cause always struck me as I never played it, but it struck me as a here's stuff, go have fun. And from the reviews I read, it just is fun. They provide mechanics that make running around the world just a joy, especially with that grapple hook thing. Skies of Arcadia by Atlas would be something you would like. Just about everything from Atlas is something I like. Speaking of Atlas, I would like more Trauma Center games, please, because I really liked what they did with Trauma Team, which I believe is the last one they did, which took the old Trauma Center idea but added a bunch more discipline. So in addition to a surgeon, you had a EMT, you had a gastroenterologist, you had a a bone doctor, you had a forensic person, a coroner. You had one more. I forget what the sixth one was. And it was, the intertwining story of all these, 5 or 6 people. And I really enjoyed that game. So I just recheck the YouTubes here. AL Justice also wants more Skies of Arcadia, and you wish that Legend of Heroes games gets localized. It might. It's getting a bunch of attention, so that's always a good sign. Also, AL Justice said Sleeping Dogs was amazing. It really needed to focus off the gunplay, though, in favor of more martial arts. That's actually I've only played the true crime games, but yeah, the gunplay in both games was touchy, to say the least. Didn't quite work as well as it needed to. Beating the snot out of people was a lot. That's one thing about Yakuza that's a lot of fun, is there are almost no guns in the game. You're just beating the ever-loving bloody poo out of people, which is actually a little tonally discordant in this game, in that the street brawls are incredibly brutal. I mean, we're talking curb stomp level brutality here. So people come up and pick fights. They're like, "Hey, you looked at me funny. Let's fight." And then you literally curb stomp this guy, and blood flies all over the place. And he gets up and he's like, "I am so sorry. I don't, my head was somewhere else. Here's 500 yen. Let's just forget this ever happened." And he limps off, and I'm thinking, "You're dead, sir. You do not survive this. You don't just get up and offer me 500 yen and go about your day. That would kill you." But eh, so that's a little incongruous, I think, but it's still a really fun game. And man, some of the because you can pick up weapons, and occasionally someone will have a baseball bat. And holy crap, do you just go casino on some guy if you have a baseball bat and a full burn meter, heat meter, whatever it's called. What's another one? Oh, there's like a switchblade pocket knife type thing. You just shiv somebody. And they're, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Here's 500 yen." It's like you want to stuff your intestines back in your stomach, man. I love this game. Such a great game. Unfortunately, I only have until, I would imagine, midnight. My PlayStation Plus subscription expires today. So maybe if I turn the system off, unplug it from the internet, and reset the clock, it'll be good. Maybe if I don't turn the system off and keep playing the game, I can keep playing until I shut it up. I don't know. Um, I mean, the game's $50. A year of PlayStation Plus is $50. I could just, foot the $50 and keep playing the game. Um, Delirical, you haven't tried the Trauma Center games, but you would get nervous and freak out. But they're probably, you would get nervous and freak out because of blood and gore, maybe. But you say a Wii U version would be excellent. Oh yeah, Wii U version would be great. Although you would probably end up doing the whole thing on the gamepad. The nice thing about the Wii U version is you just pointed the controller at the screen. Which, does Kirby and the Rainbow Curse use the Wii remote pointer for drawing the line? I hope it does, because I don't want to stare at my gamepad. I want to look at the TV. The Trauma Center games all are very stylized. I mean, it's not upsettingly gory. I think I think you'd be unless you're super super squeamish. I think you'd probably be okay with them. Let's see. What if you have multiplayer in Trauma Center Wii U? One player uses the Wii remote, player two uses the gamepad, but handling the tools via the touchscreen on the gamepad. You might have something to do with that. You could have because you know, in surgery, it's not just one person; it's a team of people all doing a bunch of things. So, although if you were the person like monitoring the EKG and things like that, or the person who was responsible for handing tools over, the person responsible for constantly injecting the proper drugs in the IV bag, might be a little dull. But yeah, you could split up the work. I think Trauma Centers actually did have a two-player Senate mode at some point. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game, but definitely something where, like, he's bleeding out, you clamp it while I solder it, that kind of thing. Oh, there's so much blood in the way, wipe it off while I, clamp and cauterize, not solder. do not solderize my bleedings. Let's see. Will I be picking up the rest of the Fatal Frame series now that I have a PS3? That's a good point. I have not played any of the Fatal Frame games. I have so much to play right now. I'll probably wait and see if 4 actually comes out. But I hear Crimson Butterfly is like the best in the series, so I'll probably try picking that up if it's available. Delirical, just cutting them wrong and laughing. Yeah, it doesn't really work quite that way. And you can do that, I guess, but I remember an old game for the Apple II called Life and Death, where you use the mouse and you could just scribble all over the person, which is essentially just with a knife. And they would, your boss pulls you in. It's like, your impression of Jack the Ripper is not very funny. But the only thing you could do in that game to get fired is not answer your pager. You could butcher people left and right, but the only time they'll show you the door is if you don't answer your pager. And what I didn't understand back then, and this was the 80s, was the whole, someone paged you, you have to return it. That was that game's copy protection schema. Because it came with a little spinny wheel thing that you had to, spin the wheel to match things to figure out the number to return the page. That was a form of copy protection. Kirby Wii U uses the gamepad only. That sucks for the person playing the game, I would think. I don't know. I'll play it and see. But the game is so gorgeous with that clay aesthetic. It's like I want to enjoy it on my big HD TV. I don't want to stare at the gamepad screen. But there's the way the game controls. There's really no way around that. The only way I could think of doing it is if where you touched on the screen was shown as a dot on the big screen, and you just hold down a trigger or something to start drawing. So that way you didn't have to, you could always keep your stylus on the screen and always keep track of where it is. I think that would work okay, but maybe they'll patch it in. If I weren't, it's something that concerns me so much that if I weren't doing the guide for the game, I probably wouldn't get the game. Matthew, you still say the Wii U gamepad is the Nintendo Connect. In other words, driving the Wii U's price higher than it should be. In a manner of speaking, yes. The difference between the Kinect and the Wii U gamepad, I would argue, and keep in mind I'm an unrepentant Nintendo fanboy, is that the Wii U gamepad works. The Kinect does not. The Wii U gamepad, works. There are a lot of really cool things you can do with it. Almost no one does, but as Zombie U showed us at launch, there are good. Maybe Zombie U is just like that's the only thing you could ever do with the gamepad, and it's like that's an ugly expression. Let me not use that one. I'm going to use it anyway. We've shot our wad with Zombie U. It's like we've got no more ideas. Because when I first heard of the Wii U controller is going to have a screen in it, I was like, why? Half a year before the Wii U came out, before even E3, we heard about the controller had a screen in it, and I was like, okay, why would I want a touch screen on my controller? And we saw the trailer for Zombie U at the following E3, and I said, oh, that's why. That's really cool. Okay, I'm on board. And Zombie U came out, and it's fantastic. And anyone who disagrees has a different opinion than I do. I love Zombie U. It's my favorite game on the Wii U, and for my money, it's really the only one that uses the Wii U gamepad in a way that is integral to the actual experience of playing the game. For example, it just wouldn't be the same game on another system. But unfortunately, it's the only game that you really can't think of playing. I can't really think of Zombie U working in the same way on another system. Pretty much every other game on the Wii U, I'm like, yeah, you'd be losing the convenience of the touchpad for maps and inventory management, but the game would work just fine on another system. So could we have sold the Wii U for $250 with just a standard control, with just a regular controller? We would have lost Zombie U, but at this point, does it matter? I don't know. I like the gamepad. I just wish there were more interesting, integral things that it was used for. I it almost feels like Nintendo had no idea what to do with it. It's like the last system, motion control. Okay, that's awesome. Well, what we need a gimmick, something that sets us apart from the rest of the pack because it's not going to be graphics display technology or capability. So what do? We did motion control. What's this one? It's like, you know what? Tablets are popular. Put a touchscreen right in the middle of the controller. Yeah. Why? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just do it. And they did, and they never figured anything out. Because for years we were like, okay, because Mario, man, Mario is going to show us why we need a touchscreen. New Super Mario Brothers U came out, and nope. I'm like, this doesn't show me why I need a touchscreen. No, the real Mario, man, the 3D Mario, man, that's the one that that Miyamoto is like, I'm making Mario 3D and I need a touchscreen. So there will be a touchscreen. It has been, so it shall be written, so it shall be done. And Mario 3D World came out the next year, and nope. Doesn't need it. Uses it in a few very limited ways, but doesn't really need it at all. So yeah, so us Nintendo fans, it's like, oh man, they're really, no. I don't think Nintendo ever really had any clear idea what it wanted to do with a touchscreen, and if it's really adding that much cost to the system, is it worth it? I don't know. I'm playing Yakuza 4 here, and not once did I say, man, I wish the map was on a screen in my lap. In fact, I never once even considered it until just this moment. It's like, what could I do with Yakuza 4 on the gamepad? Well, you could put the map on the gamepad, but I have a mini map in the corner of the screen, which works just as well. Although it would be nice if I could use waypoints, which is something this game doesn't do. But not that big a deal because it's not that huge of a place. It's dense, but it's not that big. So you learn it pretty quickly. But anyway, Adnex, you have a Wii U, and to be honest, you never use the gamepad. I use the gamepad to play, but what's nice is well, I'll tell you one thing. I have not had to recharge this yet. I've been playing over a dozen hours. Have not had to recharge this yet. Wii U gamepad, you got about 3 hours. I have to charge it during a play session. I'll be playing a game, and on a weekend when I actually have the time, I'll be playing a game and the light goes on. It's like, ah, crap. I have to go and plug the thing out from the back of the charger and plug it in and keep playing. So I think in some ways I might miss the screen, but and I love Zombie U. It does add a form of convenience that does work quite well in a lot of games, but overall, if there's just nothing there, yeah, I don't know that I'd miss it too much. What do I think about preloading? When I pre-order a digital game and it installs on the Wii U before the game is out, and when it's out, you just install a patch. I buy retail, so I don't care. I think it's a fine idea because, for example, as I said at the beginning of this chat, which is now 2 hours long, at the beginning of this show, Yakuza 4 took like 5.5 hours or something like that to download. I was excited to play it Monday or Tuesday night or whatever. I was like, okay. Now, I didn't think it was going to download in a couple minutes. If you were to take half hour, but it took 5 hours. It took the evening. I had to do something else that evening. So, when a game comes out, you want to play it now. It's like, geez, I could run out to the store and buy Yakuza 4 before this damn thing finishes downloading. So I think preloading games is a fine idea. It downloads most of the critical stuff. It's like you do that the week or two before, and then it releases, and you just download a quick patch. You're up running and playing, and everyone is happy. Well, we're gamers, right? We're never happy. We'll find crap to complain about. Let's see. Play Bayonetta 2 on the gamepad, and then imagine Bayonetta being a Kinect game, and you'll see the difference. Oh yeah, from what I understand, Bayonetta actually works. This is not how I'm going to play the game, but works really well with its touchscreen controls. I'm willing to bet that doing the same thing with Kinect just flat out wouldn't work. Because, and I base that on the fact that nothing on Kinect actually works. And I don't believe those dancing games are actually working correctly. Z2400, when you saw the gamepad, your reaction was, yes, I can switch items in Animal Crossing in real time now. You know, there are some conveniences. Instead of going into a menu and futzing with stuff, you can have it there and just like, oh, okay, just switch stuff around. Yeah, I mean, the gamepad is not without its uses. It's not without its conveniences, but it's just not used very much. And I don't know. I sometimes I think that maybe the $100 or whatever the gamepad is worth, I'd just be happier with that $100 going into better technology. Is cross game chat, is that something that we don't have because the Wii U flat out really can't handle it because it's busy running the gamepad and other things? I don't know. I have a feeling it's mostly Nintendo. Nintendo probably played Xbox Live once and got scared. Doesn't want that to happen. And it's like, just restrict chat to your friends list. Call it a day. That should be enough, I would think. Let's see. Delirical. Last year, people started playing Zombie U again and want a sequel to it. And well, they should. It's great. Yeah, so you can touch your games directly. Yeah, how come there's not more porn games? I thought the Wii remote would be excellent for. There was a game called Sexy Beach 3, I think. I was like, oh man, that's a shoo-in for the Wii U, man. Because it's just a game where you have a 3D character person who's in a bikini or naked or something, and you just poke her with the you have the cursor and you just poke her and see how she reacts to where you poke her. I'm like, oh, this is perfect with the remote. You can just point and poke. So, but that never happened. Let's see. The Wii U is selling worse than the GameCube. Yep. Sad. GameCube's still an awesome console back in the day. Just sad that it's taken people until now to appreciate it. Yeah, yeah, it was underappreciated, and things quickly went for everything but GameCube with that system. I mean, I got and played. Terminal Reality released Blood Rain on the GameCube, and I loved that game, and I was excited for part two, and then it was for everything but GameCube. I'm like, no, and I wrote Terminal Reality, and I'm like, no, and they never responded. Matthew, do not pre-order. Yeah. Difference between. Yeah, I don't think he meant pre-order. I think he meant pre-loading games. Although I guess technically you have to buy it before it comes out to preload it, which in a way is a pre-order, but okay. That's a perspective, sure. Remember the days when you put in a cartridge and it just worked? Yeah, says Viper. Yes, I do. I miss cartridges. And we're back to the boob sliders again. Yeah, boob sliders. There was a game called Sexy Poker on the Wii. Don't remember that. Although the Wii U is outselling the Virtual Boy. Yeah, the Virtual Boy I think was discontinued in first couple of months. So there's hope. Yeah, I think the Wii U. Here's the thing: Nintendo has enough money to fail several times. It may not actually do that, but I mean, its investors may stage a coup or something if it does fail repeatedly. But Nintendo has buku bucks in the bank, so which gives them some leverage on. It gives them the ability to experiment, and I like the fact that Nintendo does weird, wacky stuff, but I wish they did their weird, wacky stuff without doing dumb things. I mean, it can still do its weird, wacky stuff, but there are basic standards we have now with internet, friends lists, chat, digital things, account systems, basic stuff. Region locking, which is only a thing on Nintendo system. Man, good lord, I need to cut my hair. Um, but I'm not going to because I'm having fun growing it out and seeing what it does. Nothing attractive so far, but um, I'm having fun because I can actually, I wash my hair and uh, my hair is actually long enough that I can, when the water's coming this way, I can actually see my hair, which is weird. Never happened before. I can actually, grab my hair and pull. I don't know why I'd want to do that, but I actually have to brush my hair off of my ears, which is weird. Let me check YouTube again here real quick. That's a comment from me, actually. AL Justice, speaking of Fatal Frame and having a PS3, going to look into Siren Blood Curse. That's a yes, I think I will, because I always thought that game looked really, really interesting. If you guys, unless I'm thinking of the wrong damn game, if you guys are not familiar with this game, Siren Blood Curse was a game where, oh man, how do you explain this? You could, it was kind of like a survival horror game. Imagine Resident Evil. You're walking through Spencer Mansion, and you're in the foyer of the mansion, and you look around and you don't see anyone, but you can hear a noise. You could astrally project yourself into the uh, body of any nearby zombies and see through their eyes. So you could, move over to zombie one and see what zombie one is looking at, and then move over to zombie two and see the perspective from zombie two. And that would give you a spatial awareness, an idea of where each zombie is and where their attention is and where you are in relation to them. I hope that made some sort of sense. And from what I understand, the game actually is a little clunky, but is still very atmospheric and fun. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I may actually look into that. Viper says I should grow an afro, and it's like my hair is so damn thick and curly. That's kind of what's happening. I always wondered what I'd look like with long hair, but my hair doesn't really lay down. It just just does that. So yeah. Z2400, I had an idea for the Wii U successor. It comes bundled with 3D printer, and you print your own amiibo. I don't think you can 3D print an NFC chip yet, but that's an idea. I'm actually one thing I have to wonder, because Nintendo's doing a amiibo for all the Smash Brothers characters. Are they going to do amiibo for me? And what is the me going to look like? What I've always wondered is, pardon me, could Nintendo do a send us your me data and we will make you a custom me for a nominal fee, of course. It'd probably be stupid expensive, and then send it to you. That seems like something that might be pretty popular. Everyone could have their own personal me. Of course, people are probably going to, send in their Mr. Penis Face me's and Admiral Akbar me's, and but I mean, hey, if you're willing to pay for it, I'm sure Nintendo would be willing to make it for you. Although it might have to partner with someone to actually do that. I had something else brilliant to share, and I don't remember what it is. Oh well. So let's see. Darn YouTube comments. There we go. So all right, it's that's over 2 hours of show here. So last call for questions before we hang it up for the evening. Because I want to eat dinner. I want to have my special Valentine's Day dinner of overpriced scallops. And don't forget the Hitler me's also. Yeah, yeah. So, let me plug some of my stuff while you guys are thinking of some final questions, if you have any. Andrew Eisen here. Eisen is the last name. I do silly videos on YouTube. Just type my name into YouTube and you'll find my channel. I do. I did a Monster Hunter wish list this week, which talks about some of the mostly sane ideas I have for a Monster Hunter sequel. I've got some even more out there ideas. So watch the video, tell me what you think, and if you want to hear some of my even more unique ideas, I'll try and get that video out there at some point. I remember I did a video recently about my first experience with marijuana, and the person in question actually questioned me about that, and she said, was that really your first experience? And she says, because I totally thought that was like at the drive-in. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know if it was at the drive-in, but it was definitely in your car. But I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? That's actually not my first experience. So I may do a Q and Andrew at some point telling you about my really super true first experience with marijuana. As I mentioned at some point during this incredibly long show, uh, the videos with my sister and we've got one more movie review coming out, and then we've got two more videos after that, which is us talking about things we like that other people hate and things we hate that everyone else likes. You can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Eisen. Every time I do a new YouTube video, I promote it there, but mostly I use Twitter just to say silly things. I also have a Facebook page, Andrew Eisen YouTube. I announce all my videos and stuff there, but I do mostly observations about the game industry and pretty much anything else that interests me. And no A Big Sig 881, you do not get to be my IM friend. Let's see, anything else? Hey, I made $7.50 in ad revenue last month. Woo! So, probably not going to be quitting my day job anytime soon, but all right. Let's see. Thoughts on Sega going down? Maybe if Sega made a good Sonic game, that might help. Because making crap Sonic games does not seem to be working. Get Yakuza 5 out here as quick as possible and actually advertise it, because I can tell that they're not spending that much money on the game. There's a lot of corners being cut in the production, which is understandable. It's a lower budget title. But I think if they brought it's really a great game. I think if they promoted it at all, I don't know if this game actually gets promoted, but I think it could catch on because it's really great. I mean, in a lighter RPG sense, it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto Shibuya, or somewhere in Japan. I think a lot of the West would really dig this game if they knew it was there and if it was available to them. And also bring the Yakuza 1 and 2 HD collection out on this side of the world, because I want to play it now. Do I think Mario Maker will get more game bases with it, or even possibly amiibo support? Amiibo... Boy, wouldn't that piss you off if in order to use certain tile sets or something, you had to actually go buy a $13 toy? That would piss me off. I don't mind when they're used, like you put an amiibo on and it gives you a 1-up or something. Stuff like that is fine. It gifts you power-ups And, kind of like a Game Genie or a Game Shark or something like that. It gives you little things to help you through the game. That's fine. I can't stand it when content is gated behind amiibos. That I don't like. What do I think of the rejected Metroid pitch? I don't know about it, so not familiar with that. If someone buys Atlas and Skies of Arcadia, then forces them to make a new one, I would be happy, says Matthew. Yep. Um, I don't know why anyone would have to buy Atlas and Skies of Arcadia, but if you meant if someone like Atlas bought Skies of Arcadia, sure. Would I rather see Nintendo buy Sega or Nintendo buy Capcom? Ooh. Ooh. Z2400. That's an interesting question. Um, I'm gonna have to think on that. That is a really good question. I'll be interested to hear what all of you think about that. So head on over to YouTube and put that in the comments section. Would you rather see Nintendo pick up Sega and acquire its IP, or Capcom and acquire its IP? Because Lord knows, I would love to see someone. It's Valentine's Day. Let's send Mega Man some love. But there are a lot of Sega properties that I absolutely adore too. So, that is a hard one, man. Excellent question. I'll have to think that. Take Sonic out back and put him down. I see that joke all the time. I kind of maintain just make a good Sonic game. You don't have to kill Sonic, just make a good game. Although I haven't liked any of them, so although the Sonic racing game was actually pretty good, and I don't like racing games, so eh. Delirical says Sega. Matthew says Capcom. Viper says Capcom because of Mega Man. Delirical says announce a Phantasy Star 5 and win E3. So yeah. Okay, that's it. That's enough. We're done. So thank you all for taking time on this very romantic evening to spend some time with me. Easy Case should be back next week unless he has baby number 6, I think this is. So any day, any week now. So, but next week if Zachary can't make it, we should have someone else on the show that we can actually talk back and actually discuss something other than me, reading you press releases. And Z2400 says Sega. Man, I'm going over it in my head and I'm waffling back and forth. That's like, choose which one of your children will live. It's like, so, all right, let's get the this wasn't much of a super podcast action committee, but it was still episode 131. Thank you very much for watching. It's a weekly podcast. We do it every Saturday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it streams live on my YouTube channel and at gamepolitics.com, where we have a live chat, which is a lot of fun. So you can send us email at superpackpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at superpackpodcast. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes, and like us on Facebook. And that's it. So thank you, everyone, for... Can we have my sister on the show? I guess I'd have to see. She's way cooler than I am, so she's probably actually doing stuff on a Saturday night. But we can think about it. And yeah, EZK is nuts, and we can make fun of him next week. He may be back, and if not, the week after. So, all right, you all have an excellent week. I'm going to have some scallops and then enjoy the last few hours I have with Yakuza 4. And happy Valentine's Day to you and yours. So take care, all. Goodbye.